Okay, okay. This is it. Welcome back, everyone. Ayan, medyo konting, hindi naman delayed. In fairness, ahead of schedule naman tayo, Sir Ronald. May mga nag-echosera na baka nag-OT ka daw sa kabilang channel. Sabi ko, hindi naman siguro masyado. Ako naman may solution ako eh. Pwede naman tayo lahat collaborate para isang baksak na para hindi mapagod ito si Sir Ronald. But obviously, I do things differently. Obviously, I think people know na yung approach natin ay medyo iba dito. So I'm sure people will benefit from both kabilang channel at saka dito because 360 talagang ginagawa natin. By the way, of course, bukas po guys, magkakaroon naman kami ng Sir Ronald, pagod ka na kaya hindi na kita inimbita dito pero next time attack ka namin. So,
Ano yan? Ano yan?
with Kristan naman bukas tayo at saka si Mark Gamboa, RMC naman, RMC.
Ah.
Pag-usapan naman natin in-person podcast na to. So, Sir Ronald, I'm launching na itong mga kapihan. Medyo konyo, Starbucks. Starbucks na kapihan. So, kasama ka na sa next, ha? At syempre, nahiya na ako sa'yo kasi ine-edit ko pa yung ginawa natin sa UP Asian Center.
Inaantay ko nga eh. Inaantay ko nga eh.
Ito na-arrange ko na. So, ito na yung kapihan natin. Medyo konyotic, medyo Starbucks.
Ay, hindi ako pwede dyan. Hanggang ko lang ako, ilustrado.
Hindi, magdala ka na lang ng kape ilustrado dyan
Pang-ilustrado
sa
lang ako.
Starbucks.
Hindi
So,
masarap ang kape ron eh, sa Starbucks eh.
edi bigyan kita ng free na lagyanan tapos lagyan mo ng yung mga binili natin sa kantina para mas masarap. Mga lasang UP, 'di ba? Yung mga
Yan.
ganyan.
Ah.
So, so yung guys, so we're hopefully moving towards that. As I said, my invitation has been always extended to all other bloggers na, including yung mga medyo, hindi naman yung mga medyo malakriminal vloggers, yung mga legit na iba, di ba? Sa kabilang channel, dun sa ibang channel. So, I'm always open to collaborations, invitations are always out. So, please, abangan nyo bukas naman with si Kristan. Obviously, we want to talk about Alice Go. Kasi I think Kristan, I don't know, Ronald, napanood mo yung mga analysis ni Kristan. So, yun yung atang best-selling analysis ni
Di
Alice.
pa eh. Padala mo nga sa akin. Padala mo
Oh,
nga
the
sa akin.
best. The
Link
best
ka.
talaga si
I
Kristan.
don't I don't know him eh. I don't know
Yeah,
him.
bro. He's a good guy. He's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
guy. He's super cool guy. Ito yung all-around guy, Bitcoin,
Yeah.
motivational speaking at saka of course naging very active siya nung panahon ng Pink Movement, 'di ba? He
Mm.
will go there. So I think isa siya sa mga stars also of vlogger stars na in the good side, in the good side. Of course, kasama din dyan si Mark Campos. So, Sir Ronald, next time, magdala ka ng sarili mong kape. Lagyan natin sa Starbucks, ganun. So,
Oh.
eto na, magsimula na tayo ng mga konyotic kapehan. Kapehan ng mga
Hindi ako
konyo.
pwede sa konyotik sa 'di ba? Kaya mo ako kinuha na Baratulan na Rogan, Josh Rogan, 'di ba? Yun ang sabi mo
Yan ang
eh.
gagawin natin,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, yung
'Di
apat
ba?
tayo, tapos
Pero pag
marunong.
pero pag nagmumura naman ako, pinipigilan mo ako.
Nagbabato de la Rosa. O kanina, Sir Ronald,
Oh.
matagal tayo hindi nakita. Naka-4 na oras yata hindi tayo nakita. Ito si Sir JV Ersi to kanina, di ba yung interview ko doon
Oo
sa
nga
show
eh.
natin.
Oo.
Mabait siya eh. Ayaw niya makiutsesera. Sabi niya, tapos na, ayoko na balikan. Pero sasagot pa rin siya. Hindi. Sabi ko, totoo ba na footgate yung dahilan na napatanggal si Zubiri? Footgate talaga eh. Footgate.
Ah.
Yung paanong isa ay pinilit na So, eto, Sir Ronald, let's get the ball rolling. Actually, I'm slightly in a good mood since last night because, may kinalaman na ito sa opposition natin, but not as directly as people think. So, yesterday, umiyak-iyak yung mga pollsters sa India because they got it sore. As in, literally, Ronald, I'll send you links. Umiiyak yung ibang pollsters sa India because all of them projected like electoral massacre of opposition. Now,
Landslide ni Modi.
landslide. And they were expecting what, 380, 390 seats for the ruling BJP party of Narendra Modi, who's, strongman populist, similar to, all sorts of different people we know. And yet, ang nangyari is dumoble pa yung share ng opposition and hindi nag-majority itong BJP party. So they have to do it with their coalition partners. So the big winner, so ironically, loser pa rin yung opposition in the sense that it's unlikely they'll take over government anytime soon. But the big winner is
The
Rahul Gandhi.
Congress Party. Oh.
Congress Party led by the
Yeah.
Nehru Gandhi family, and in this
Yeah.
case, Rahul Gandhi. Now, I want to talk about Rahul Gandhi because ito, Ronald, you correct me if I'm wrong. Ang basa kay Rahul Gandhi, correct me in terms of the reference point I'm gonna use is, parang tingin sa kanya is, parang Marrojas na mas konyotic pa sa akin. Kasi I mean, as you know, in the case of Raul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, yung mommy niya is Italian. Medyo guwapito to. Cambridge graduate, Harvard graduate, Tisoy, diba? There were even concerns if he has the right Indian accent kasi syempre educated in the US, half Italian, playboy, ganon-ganon. So that was a reputation of him. And last election, he did so bad. He didn't even win a seat dun sa kanilang stronghold. It's like an Aquino not winning in Tarlac and being
Yes.
beaten by DDS. I mean, it was just like total, ano. But since last year, Rahul Gandhi went through this phase. So he walked through India. You can see the reference points you are making.
Hmm.
Nag-tour siya all around. Nag-listening tour siya. Di ba? I think someone has been talking about this. Listening tour siya. He went from village to village, town to town. At nakaganan siya. Literally, the Indian way na humility. At saka tanggap niya yung kakulangan ng opposition. Tanggap niya na hindi. Kasi I've been listening to his speeches. Very self-reflective, tanggap niya na nagkakulang sila sa opposition, that there are many things they have to fix. Hindi niya na-demonize yung mga voters na sabi niya, oh, ba't kayo bumoto kay Modi? Ano lang yan. No, no, no. He just talked about importance of upholding the Constitution. And then interestingly, and I think this is where there's probably a kind of a playbook also for, not playbook, but an inspiration for Bam Aquino. Remember, the thing with Nehru Gandhi family is that yung lola niya, na-assassinate. Yung daddy also niya, if I'm not mistaken, na-assassinate. So, he comes from a family of icons na politically assassinated. And in fact, that's why his family is one of the most protected families on earth. Ang laki ng security profile na. And yet, nagba-bicycle siya, cool dude siya, pilot siya, all of those things. So, first of all, Ronald, I'm sure you're also following India because I know you're very much into Europe. Siyempre, social ka. But I'm sure you're also following India because this is the biggest, most important democracy in Asia. As far as countries similar to us is concerned. First of all, anong read mo dito na mukhang laking setback ito dun sa populist strongman momentum ng Modi administration. I would say Modi is 10 times more competent than Digong, and BJP is a million times more competent than the DS people, more mobilized and all. So, big deal itong relative success ng opposition, even though, of course, they're not gonna take over the government anytime soon. What is your understanding of this, Ronald?
Well, yung kanya kasing nationwide listening tour, no? Ay una, parang na-refresh sa mga tao yung yung kanyang ancestry na basically created modern India. So yung mga matatanda, no, ay medyo na-soften yung kanilang mga puso kahit yung mga hardliners. Tapos yung mga bata, ito pala yung nababasa nila sa mga libro na pinag-aaralan nila. So na ganun. Tapos yung kanyang dating ay very humble, no? Very humble kahit na yung kanyang ancestry from Jawaharlal Nehru, yung tatay ni Nehru, hanggang dun sa anak niya, si Indira Gandhi, na pinatay ng mga bodyguards. Tapos dun sa anak ni Indira Gandhi, na pinatay ng suicide bomber. So, lahat yan parang naging perfect storm for him. Nakadagdag pa dyan yung economic situation ng India na in one aspect ay nag-improve by leaps and bounds, no? Yung form, yung shape, yung economic indicators. Pero lumalawak pa rin yung income gap, lalong-lalo na sa usapin ng unemployment at saka inflation.
So,
So
very similar. Very similar
yeah,
to the
yeah,
Philippines.
yeah, yeah. So itong pala nito ay nagsalubong dun sa panahon na akala nila ay ito yung height ng power ni Modi. Nung panahon na yung India is now a global player as never before, 'di ba? Ang katapat niya is China, ang kadil niya sa Quad ay US, Japan, Australia. Tapos kahit saan siya pumunta ay pinapalakpakan siya, no, as a global leader. Pero yung kanyang populism, no, yung kanyang sectarianism ay unti-unti na palang, without knowing it, unti-unti na palang may cracks, no, within the population. At yung cracks na yan lalong lumaki dahil nga dun sa economic contradictions ng India. being an economic powerhouse, pero at the same time, ang taas ng unemployment, ang taas ng pollution, ang taas ng inflation. So yung ganong contradictions ay nagpapatuloy. Kaya anong sabi nila? Kahit doon sa lugar na tinayo nila yung historic Ram Temple, di ba? Yung isang God King nila na naging very controversial dahil nandun winasak nila yung isang
Yeah.
16th century Muslim temple, no?
Mughal
Yun.
era mosque, yeah.
Oo, napaka-controversial noon. Doon nila kinuha niya na ang tingin nila ay makakadagdag doon sa political fortunes ni Modi. Hindi pala. Doon mismo, isa sa pinakamalaki siyang natalo, no? Doon sa lugar na yon, no? Kaya tingin ko positive itong nangyayari sa
Right.
India dahil kung raragasa si Modi, tingin ko yung sectarianism, yung populism ay magiging negative para sa India in the long term. In the
Yeah.
long dahil India is supposed to be a multi religious, multi ethnic, multi
Multicultural, almost
multicultural,
facilitating state. Yeah,
very
exactly.
tolerant society, no? So at least itong nangyaring eleksyon ay parang ibinabalik uli ang India dun sa ganong klaseng positive aspect ng kanilang kasaysayan, yung positive aspect ng kanilang estado, no?
Right. I mean, Ronald, I think for people who have followed India very closely, I mean, obviously one of the reasons Digong came out to me not a very original because I was really confounded and at the same time fascinated by the rise of Modi. I mean, obviously I knew the dark side, the Gujarat pogroms or accusations that he had something to do with it or not did enough, not doing enough. And then, of course, his rise to the presidency in 2014. So I've been following this for quite some time over the past decade. And for me, Modi represents the gold standard of strongman populism. And I don't mean gold standard in terms of like it's a good thing. I'm just saying siya yung pinaka-developed version of strongman populism. And again, this is very relevant because every study I've seen says pagdating sa disinformation and using hate and using those things, ibang klaseng machinery nila Modi. So whatever the opposition wants to say here about disinformation, next level ang India, I'm telling you. Because of course, one thing that we don't have is mas diverse sila. There's the caste system. There are many things going on there. More multi-religious pa sila. And the size, just 1.4, 1.5 billion people. So I think that's why it's important to realize gaano kalaki itong success ng opposition. Because against all odds, including the fact na nafi-freeze yung account ng opposition, I don't think that happened in the Philippines. Na fini-freeze ba yung bank account sila, pinapaalis sila, nagsasampa ng
Tinatanggal sa Kongreso,
yeah,
no?
man. Including si Rahul Gandhi, di ba?
Pinapakulong, di ba?
So if you look at the odds that the opposition was facing in India, way higher dun sa opposition sa Pilipinas among others. And yung organizational capacity and disinformation machine nung kalaban nila is way more sophisticated than anything that Duterte and BBM or Unity whatever could put together. So that's why for me mahalaga na pag-aralan ng India because grabe yung odds against the opposition and yet
Definitely, no?
they
Definitely.
doubled.
Yeah.
Now I want to focus on two things. No, one is this is what you and I have been saying, yung listening tour, how important it is. So please listen to us when you say listening tour because it worked in the case of India. Yung kumbaba ka, you really go on the ground, people have to see you. But the important there also, Ronald, is he reached out to kasi pansin mo, yung mga pinaka-big fans ni Modi are yung mga middle class, yung mga urban, minsan yung mga expat pa. But actually in the rural area, yung mga poorest of the poor in India, marami sa kanila, they see the inequality, they see problems. So actually, Rahul Gandhi reached out to those people. He went to the poorest of poor Indians, to the farmers, to the rural area, to the old, to the young, everyone, and talked to them. And third and most importantly, yung para atin yung sinasabi, ang pinag-usapan dito ay hindi ako versus Modi. Ang pinag-usapan dito is the essence of our democracy as a secular, what you were saying, multicultural. So kaya nung after elections, halos hinalik-halikan niya lang yung constitution. I mean, you can see the sincerity and commitment, his willingness to go all the way. And I think that's how, I mean, I think in a free situation, who knows, maybe Congress Party would have 4 times more seats. But against all of those odds, doubling their seats in the parliament and being the main opposition party. I think that was a very, very big deal. So, Ronald, now let's go to the middle of the discussion. Are there direct lessons for the opposition? And the closest I can see parallel to Gandhi's is Aquino's, right? Let's talk about that. Let's spell it out.
Well, kahit ibang-iba naman talaga yung history ng India, it's several thousand years history nila, no? It's one of the oldest civilizations in the world, no? Yung India na yan. In spite nung differences ng ating history, ng nature ng estado, ay meron kang pwedeng kunin ng mga parallelisms eh. Makikita mo sa India, katulad na nakikita mo sa Pilipinas, yung pagsabay at pagbungguan pero at the same time pag-complement ng isang pre-modern society, isang modern society at isang post-modern society, no? Pre-modern dahil kitang-kita mo yung mga ills ng kanilang kasaysayan. 'Di ba? Kitang-kita mo sa India yan. Katulad sa atin. Sa kanila meron pang case system hanggang ngayon, 'di ba? Meron pang mga mga sobrang laki ng superstition at the same time modern technology sa kanilang bansa. Sa atin makikita ka ng mga warlords, makikita ka ng extrajudicial killings, nakakita ka pa rin ng mga rise ng mga dictators at saka authoritarian leaders, no? etc. etc. no? Kaya nandun yung pre-modern coexisting with a modern society. Yung mga ibang mga NGO sa India, ang tawag nila sa sarili nila, social democratic. Dahil nandun yung contours, nandun yung shape ng isang modern democracy. Diba? It's called the biggest democracy in the world. No? Ilang 100 million yung bumoto? 700 million yung bumoto sa election na ito. So, nandun
In 6
yung
rounds or something. Yeah,
nandun yung mga institutions of modernity, modern institutions. Nandoon, no? Bureaucracy. Marami kang criticism sa British colonialism, pero magagaling sila kumpara sa mga Amerikano in terms of building a bureaucracy.
Yung
Ang
Raj,
Amerikano
yung Raj.
magagaling sa kanya magagaling sa gera Pero winning the peace, medyo mahina sila, di ba? So yan yung modernity. Tayo rin ganyan We're the first democracy in this part of the world, di ba? In the Asia Pacific, in Southeast Asia. Nandun sa atin yung shape of modernity, no? A constitution, civil liberties, no? Separation of church and state, nandun yung rule of law, etc. etc. So, pero nandun din kasabay niyan yung weaknesses ng mga institutions na yan. At panghuli, postmodernity, no? Makikita mo, isa tayo sa pinaka maraming oras, if not tayo yung pinakamaraming oras sa internet. Tayo yung pinakamaraming oras sa TikTok. Tayo
Yeah.
pinakamaraming
Number
oras
4
sa
yata India
YouTube.
Indonesia
Diba?
number 2. So, isa pa yung
Diba?
sana similar sa atin.
Diba? So, nung unang tumakbo si Modi, pinag-aralan ko yung kanyang campaign Nagulat ako Dahil si Modi kasi, isang mahirap na tao yan Nagbebenta yan ng tubig sa mga bus
Yeah,
Diba?
yung kingmaker
Yung mga,
yung dad niya.
diba?
Yeah,
Pag nakasakay ka sa bus, nasa
yeah,
labas
yeah.
yung mga bata nagbebenta. Ganun si
Pajak.
Modi. Ganun si
Oh,
Modi, no? Pero yung kanyang campaign is very, very postmodern. Pero mo, ang ginamit niyang kampanya, hologram, dahil hindi mo mapuntahan ng India dahil it's bigger than China in terms of population at malaki yung bansa with extremes of climate, di ba? Extremes of geography, no? Ang hirap
language,
puntahan, no? In
diversity.
one campaign period. Ang ginawa ni Modi, bumili sila ng mga hologram at sa mga hologram na yan, sa mga communities, sa mga mahihirap na mga lugar, ay lumalabas yung kanyang hologram. Speaking yung kanyang campaign message. No? So, what can be more postmodern than that? So, like us, naghahalo yan nagbubungguan. At depende kung mga progressive groups, paano gagamitin yan? Paano mo gagamitin yung ating sense of community na rooted sa ating history? Panahon ng Kastila, even before that, no? malalim yan sa atin eh. The sense of community na minsan ay sinasagkaan ng modernity. Diba? Yon. Paano mo gagamitin yan positively sa ganitong klaseng panahon? Ikalawa, kahit may mga weaknesses yung ating mga political institutions, kahit may weaknesses yung ating EDSA institutions, it's a cup half full, half empty. The alternative is much worse. So the alternative is how to strengthen at lagyan ng substance itong mga modern institutions na ito. Itong mga EDSA institutions na ito. Not to throw away the baby with the bathwater. No? Dahil yun yung naging foundation ng campaign ni Digong na kinakatawan yung populism at saka authoritarianism dahil sa criticism sa modern institutions natin. No? So yun yung isa
Right.
at postmodernity, no? Ito ay in-experiment natin with Mark. 'Di ba? In-experiment natin ito Dahil most people hindi na sa TV nanonood Most people hindi na sa TV kumukuha ng balita. Most people hindi na sa TV kumukuha ng mga opinions. Kaya ito yung ginagawa natin dito sa big R at saka a much smaller R and a medium size M, no? Ako yung smaller. So
Sir,
ginagawa natin
I'm not
yung
sure
medium na ito.
postmodern tong ginagawa natin. We're just being innovative. We're just being innovative. I think
We're using the medium,
yeah,
no? We're using the
high
medium
tech,
of
high tech tayo. High
yeah.
tech low
So,
budget.
so
High
tingin
tech low
ko,
budget.
kaya batay sa tanong mo, yes, no? May ganung klaseng mga kahalintulad yung Indian society sa atin kahit talagang magkaiba. And second, meron tayong mga lessons na pwedeng kunin dun sa pre-modern aspect ng Indian society, modern aspect, at saka yung postmodern aspect.
Right. Ako just to be clear, yung sinasabi mo hologram. Actually, yun yung recommendation ko nung tumakbo si Enrile as senador. Sabi ko, so, baka pag nag-hologram siya, iba yung maging interpretation ng tao. Wait lang, ano to?
Baka dinosaur yung lumabas.
Baka iba yung... But actually, the first major politician who used this hologram was Mélenchon, right? Yung leftist, socialist, populist leader sa France. And I think it was 2017 pa lang or something like that. No, the last one, the 2022 one. He
But
used that.
eventually he lost it.
Pero very close, and then in the
Yeah.
parliament, nanalo sila. So the left is actually in charge of France when it comes to. So the left is doing better even than right-wing populists. So you're right. I mean, we have to be open to all sorts of ideas here. And speaking of Modi, one of the things he did which was very interesting is siya yung nag-award ng influencer awards sa India. So meron silang national vlogger influencer award, yung mga best in this one. Siya mismo ang nagbibigay ng awards. And then so actually, imagine how powerful you could be if directly kausap mo yung mga tao na hundreds of millions ang combined followers. And that's where exactly the genius of Rahul Gandhi comes in, because he was able to beat all of these influencers and all on the side of Modi by directly going to the people.
Yes.
Iba pa rin yung makikita mo yung politician dumaan sa village mo, mapagkumbaba, relatable kahit konyotic yung itsura, half Italian in this case, etc. Kaysa yung vlogger lang pinapanood mo. At the end of the day, iba pa rin you go on the ground and listen to the people way before elections. If you do it during election period lang, it won't have the same effect. But if you do it 1 year before election, 10 months before elections, ibang usapan yan. And that's exactly what Rahul Gandhi did. Kaya sincere yung dating niya sa mga
elections. At malalim yung baon ng Nehru legacy sa India. Diba? Nasa libro yan Pinag-uusapan niya sa mga eskwelahan. At sa mga matatanda, may ganong klaseng emotional connection. Diba? Even yung anak si Indira Gandhi, na yung napangasawa ay pangalan ay Gandhi, na wala namang kinalaman kay Mahatma Gandhi. No?
But it helps to have a similar sounding name.
Nakatulong.
Nakatulong talaga. Actually, yung great-grandfather niya, father of Nehru, was one of the founders of the National Congress Party. So
yes,
it really goes like 4 generations. But that's my thing. If you're an Aquino, I don't even if you're Rojas for that matter, I don't think you have to force yourself to be something else or apologize for any shortcomings. I mean, I'm sure there are many people who have issues with Indira. I have a book here about Indira Gandhi, about her, era of emergency, and
Nagdeklara siya ng state of emergency
yeah. So
You know?
hindi naman, unblemished. Hindi totoo yan. May mga controversial din na ginawa na. But he came in and said, still, do not forget, these are people who sacrifice their life and dedicate their life to building a strong, modern, secular, and inclusive India, despite our shortcomings. Huwag niyong kalimutan yan. So I think there are lessons for people in the opposition who come from, generations of reformist or democratic icons na while far from perfect, there's still a lot there that they can draw on. Last point, what is your reading of what the candidates are doing? I think, for instance, si Jokno, Attorney Jokno right now is going around and very aggressively pushing on this issue of, yeah, it just came out, my goodness, as I spoke, no, about itong 20,000 drug suspects na allegedly pinatay in the first 17 months pa lang. Oh my God, parang scary. I was mentioning it, lumabas tong tweet na to, no, about Jokno. So a total of 322 drug suspects were killed in just 17 months during sa drug war ni Digong, ayon ito ba yung ayon sa House Committee on Human Rights, and of course, no less than Jokno has been also hampering on this issue. What do you think? Do you think this is the right thing for Jokno to present himself as a champion of human rights in ways no other lawyer or no other justice warrior for the Senate would be?
Well,
In that sense, be the direct counterpose to Bato, right? If I'm Jokno, I'll say I'm the anti-Bato, right? Si Bato ay ganito ganito. I'm the anti-guy. You need me instead of Bato there. Or if you want Bato, also put me there to balance him.
Well, yes and no. No, yes, dahil hindi siya humihiwalay dun sa kanyang organic self, na talagang human rights naman siya sa flag, sa legacy ng kanyang tatay, di ba? Yan talaga yung kanyang narrative bago pa man siya pumasok sa politika. Kaya maganda na siya yung magbandera niyan. At baka hindi ganun karami yung pwede magbandera ng ganyang klaseng political narrative na walang hypocrisy, na walang vulnerability, no? Hindi siya mahahanapan ng butas diyan. Pero hindi yan sapat eh. Hindi yan sapat eh. Dahil mahalaga pa rin sa mga tao yung mga gut level issues. Diba? Yung presyo ng kuryente, yung presyo ng tubig, no? Yung presyo ng pagkain. Mahalaga na pumunta rin siya ron eh, na ididikit niya diyan. Human rights in a broader way, no? These are also issues of human rights. Pero kinakailangan niyang, katulad ng sinabi ng kanyang tatay, si Pepe Jokno, ano ba? Yung slogan niya noon, parang bread and justice or something like that eh. No?
Exactly. That hindi pwede political rights lang. There has to be socio-economic rights.
Yeah. Minag-usapan ng kanyang tatay, trabaho, pagkain, as well as justice. No, yun yung slogan ng kanyang tatay. So, baka learning from that, kailangan pumunta siya sa gut level issues. Pero meron siyang radio program sa DCRH, meron siyang radio program sa Veritas, tapos naglilibot siya. Maganda yan mula dun sa criticism natin sa opposition last year at early this year na parang tahimik. Tapos si Kiko, meron siyang TV program ngayon sa TV5 na definitely mas maganda dun sa boring TV program ni Amy Marcos sa TV5, no? At si Bam, ganun din. Naglilibot siya ngayon, negotiating, talking with Gwen Garcia, no, etc. Being interviewed sa ANC, being interviewed sa TV5 after almost 2 years na tahimik. So maganda itong
vlogger din yata siya eh. Nakiki-food vlogger, podcast bro na rin siya.
So maganda itong scaling up na ito. At well, sana nangyari yung listening tour, sana nangyari yung Thanksgiving tour 2 years ago after the election, no, as we suggested. Pero baka may panahon pa.
Yeah, and like Rahul, this is the game for the next elections also, because Rahul now is seen as the top contender to succeed Modi all of a sudden, right? So after this performance, Rahul, who's just 53 years old, is pretty young man, is in a very good position to be the top contender as the next prime minister of India, and now as the leader of the opposition. So people forget that, it's not only about 2025, it's also about 2028.
Yes. Pero yun, halimbawa, yung huling survey today, no? Yung lumabas.
Anong
Wala pa rin
survey yan? Sorry, di ko nakita. Anong survey ito?
itong
Osage ba to? Ano ba to? Okta?
Tugon ba ng bayan ang tawag
Okay,
dito?
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah,
I thought this,
ah,
kasi wala pa akong nakuha from those
yeah,
two others. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Ito. Tugon ng masa.
Tugon ng masa.
National survey. Okta ba to? Okta? Is this Okta?
Baka nga,
So,
let me double check. Actually, I'm checking.
Erwin Tulfo at number 1,
Okay.
8.4%. Tito Soto at number
Baka nga
2,
na-send pala sa akin. Oo.
1.7%.
Right.
51.7%. Bongo, number 3, 49.9%. Ben Tulpo at 42.5%, etc. etc.
Right.
So, ayan, no? Well, andito pa, wala dito yung kwan. Wala dito yung opposition.
Pero anong range
Hanggang
nila? Anong highest?
19, 20. So, ibig sabihin, 20 up yung opposition, malayo. Pero this
Pero,
is just one survey, no?
right.
Baka iba sa Pulse, iba sa SWS, iba sa Okta, etc.
Pero ang lapit din naman kasi, yung number 1 to 5 medyo malayo. Pero from 7, 8 onwards hanggang 20, parang few percentage points lang yung differences eh. So you just have to make few points gain to jump a huge, huge
Yeah.
ranking, di ba? So,
Hindi kasi nakalagay dito yung 20 down, no?
yeah.
Kaya di natin alam kung ano talaga yung differences. No?
It's not going to be easy. I think none of us have any illusions about it, but it's a good fight to be fought. I mean, as I said, Rahul Gandhi, everyone counted him out. He still didn't win. I mean, still nanalo pa rin ang BJP
Well,
alliance.
si Pinoy nung tumakbo siya for the Senate, nandun siya sa sa 18 to 20 range. Pero yung isang ad niya, nalagot ako sa nanay ko, catapulted him to number 4, number 5. No? Almost overnight. So, depende rin yan kung gaano
Baka
kaganda
may ano may mga
yung
events
message mo
or
yung narrative mo
exactly, yeah.
no? Lalo na sa panahon ng social media.
Right.
Nung tumakbo si Pinoy, halos wala pang social media noon.
Exactly. Si Diwata nga, yung Paris queen, di ba? Out of nowhere, biglang all over the place na siya. So, if people
Yes.
can become overnight sensation because of social media, you can also become an overnight front runner. So,
Yes.
let's
Kaya
see.
may chance ka pa, Big R.
Mamaya na yan. Sir Ronald, enjoyin muna natin itong podcast natin and then mamaya tignan natin. Thank you so much, Sir Ronald, for another inspiring, honestly, inspiring to, di ba? I mean, Ronald, we're not just doing this to just juice out latest content. Ganun. We are really enjoying these discussions kasi very inspirational ito. And what I like about our talk is we look at all around the world. And of course, it's my job as a political scientist and scholar to also look at comparative cases. Thank you very much, Sir Roland Llamas. I think we have talked a lot about the opposition already, kaya di na sila magalit sa atin, sabihin na nag-apply na naman tayo. Pero ngayon, ito na, sa next episode, mag-apply na. Pag-usapan na natin si BBM, Zelensky, ayan, dami pang pwedeng pag-usapan dito. Thank you very much, Sir Ronald.
Sige, thank you.